Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Art Tipaldi, editor of Blues Review magazine, the largest blues magazine in the world. And today we're here at Don Odell's Legends with Albert Cummings. Albert is a local Western Massachusetts native who is now into his 5th CD that's out. Is that correct, Albert?
Yeah, it's the 5th
CD?
one.
Yeah.
It might be the 6th one.
Yeah.
There was an original club demo in the beginning.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't count that
So
one.
some people call it 6. Some
Yeah.
people, I say it's 5.
Yeah. So this is 5 albums since 2003. Was that your...
Now you're pushing the limits of memory there.
Okay, okay. I look at the copyright date on the CDs.
So yeah, so
and it said
if you looked it
2003,
up,
but you might have recorded it in 2002. That was the first one.
Yeah, well, From the Heart was
From
really
the Heart,
first.
yeah.
That was 2003?
Yeah, that was the copyright date on it. Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's taken you 6 years to put out a non-studio CD.
Yeah, it's been 4 since
the live one.
Since the live one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's usually about 2 years I go. So.
That's right. Yeah. So it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
So what goes on in those 6 years that tells you it's time for a new CD? How do you approach that?
You know, I did the live one, so I kind of covered the.
That's right.
I got a CD out,
yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
But what took 4 years? I can't. It's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
It goes that fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could have gone and put one out every year, but I don't know. I just don't feel like you put a CD out every year. Are you offering the best that are you ready? Or are you? I mean, artists that do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of these artists, I envy them or admire them, I guess, because they put them out. They're on the road full time and they're putting out a CD. Good for them. It's just nothing I could do in my situation. It's just. I'm serious about what I want to do, so I'm really. I mean, not that they're not, but it's no. I just like 4 years was a long time. And
it was, yeah,
way too long for me, and I don't want that to happen again. But
right.
It just slipped away, and and the way things are, just time and working and trying to stay alive.
Because you do have a full-time job outside of music that you
in the last 4 years,
have to report to every day,
and that's what was going on. So you're really busy with. And all of a sudden, 4 years goes by.
Right, right. During those 4 years, are you writing material in preparation for a new CD?
Yeah, not every day, but you know, I'm already right now, even with this CD only out 2 or 3, 4 or 5, whatever. It's,
right.
It's out a couple months, I guess. I don't know, whatever time this gets.
I think it's out since August, maybe.
Yeah, since it's out, so I'm already starting to think of new songs. For something else. But then again, I've got a big book full of songs.
Okay.
That today might not mean anything to me, and I might go back to them, and then all of a sudden say, hey, if I change this or do this and do this, all of a sudden it fits what's going on, and I resurrect an old song. That's
right.
So I'm always working on stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm constantly trying to come up with something new. And something creative, at least in my mind.
Yeah. When you go into the studio, I know some musicians go in and they can create almost, in that studio time. Do you go in fully prepared with 15 or 20 songs?
No, I'm one of those. I'm one of those guys. Like this album I did with Jim Gaines, and I love to work with Jim because he knows I can send him down a tape of me. I just record myself playing acoustic guitar with my song ideas.
Right.
And we can turn those into songs.
Okay.
And that's how I've always gone in. I can't, like the Beatles would play 1,000 tracks before they, the 1,000 takes before they get it.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Because I'll never play it the same. It doesn't matter. And even after it's recorded, I'll start. My songs evolve when I'm out playing them. They evolve.
Yeah.
And they grow. They become their own thing. And then, 3 years later, I'm playing a song, and all of a sudden I pop in or hear it on the radio or something, I'll be like, wow, I played it so different when I recorded it.
Yeah.
But that's how I like it. I don't want it to be stuck.
Okay. So again, there are some artists who road test songs before they go in the studio, and they're, editing and tinkering, and then they go in the studio and they have it done. It sounds like you're the opposite almost.
Yes, mostly.
Yeah.
But I do, when I get a new song and I start to work on it, I do try to introduce it.
Right.
And I get in certain venues and I'll share a song. And I like to do that with people if the crowd's receptive.
Right.
And they're open to me giving them something new and exposing your belly. Say, hey, what do you guys think of this one? And try to play it. And you tell on reaction whether it's going to whether it's going to go or not. And,
Yeah.
you know, it kind of gets its ranking. Okay, that's going to make the CD here.
Yeah. How many songs do you go in with for Jim? The CD everybody is called No Regrets. There's the cover of it, and you've got 12 songs on here. How many didn't make the cut?
Well, I think I went down with like 22 or 3 songs, and tried to pick out how they evolve.
Yeah,
and they evolve. They evolve in the studio for me. I don't, you know, I go in and you know, on this album I use the studio guys from Memphis.
Right.
They're kind of, it's Jim's house band, but it's Rick Steff on keyboards and piano, Dave Smith on bass, and Steve Potts on drums.
Right.
And those guys are incredible. And I have to play these songs for them.
Yeah.
And I say, here's what I'm thinking, and I'd like to see this song go here, and I'd like to see it go there. And they sit and listen, and they write notes down. And we say, okay, well, let's go see what we got. And we go out to the studio, and we start playing it. And, you know, I have it so everybody that's involved, including Jim, can stop and say, wait a minute, try this or that, you know. And, of course, they're looking for me because they want me to have the song the way I want.
Yeah.
So it's really a nice situation, what's been set up. And it's because I've worked so much with these guys that they say, how's this, Albert? What do you think of this bass line? And Dave will play this and that. And then Steve will put something with that, you know. And then Dave said, wait a minute, I like what you're doing on that. And I'm going to change this to this. And then I'm like, well, I'm really liking that. Or no, I don't think that's my idea of where I want this. It's not the message I want to throw. I mean, it's this constant discussion.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it just starts going. And then Jim will say, you know, try this on the snare. And he's so advanced with what, you know, he's hearing the whole picture.
Wow.
And then here it comes, and all of a sudden evolves, and it's like, you know, 1 or 2 takes, and bam, the band's got it. It's like, there's the song. It just came about.
How special.
So then I find myself having to like learn what was just created to do my part on things, and you know, because you know, it's great when you get in the studio because you have that safety net. So you have a total net, and a lot of people think, oh, everything's cut live, and some bands try to do that.
Right.
You know, in today's world, it's like they don't do it like they did in the 50s and 60s, where they go and they play it until they get it.
Right. Yeah.
Because they've got so many tools and things, and we try as hard as we can to do that. So there's parts on here where original guitars were used and original vocals were used and things like that. But I might not like what I'm hearing, and I just, you know, kind of go over it again. But, you know.
Well, why not? I mean, you have the technology.
You have the technology, and I don't want to get too far with it where it becomes fake, because I never like a lot of people will take 5 solos, you know, and put together one solo.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like that stuff.
No.
That's getting into the world of what pop music is. And,
That's right.
It's not as real. I like to have it be as real as it can be.
Sure.
It's got to be. It's got to be spontaneous. It's got to be real. And
how many songs would you do in a day with this method with Jim? Are you doing 3 songs in a day maybe, or 1 a day?
You're like 1 or 2 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
So to put a CD together for Albert Cummings working with Jim Gaines might take a week, 7 days, 10 days?
Total package on that was about 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be so amazing to be so immersed in it for 2 weeks.
Well,
where
it's not 2 weeks straight for me in my position.
That's right, because you started.
It's 5 days here, 3 days. It's, you know, there's a ton of work to go with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of traveling that goes with it. But you know, that all changes, and the more you, I guess, become successful at music, the more time you can say, okay, I'm taking 2 weeks and that's it.
That's right.
And we're going to hunker down and we're going away and we're not coming out until we're done.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
Right.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I look forward to that day. But with me, it's like, okay, I got to deal with this. I got to deal with that. I got to deal with this. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take it home. I'm going to think about it for a while. Then I'm going to come back to it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's different layers. There's, you know, oh, this needs some background vocals.
Right.
You know, so that gets added on. That's where these days start adding on.
Yeah.
And you know what? That needs a little bit of a rhythm guitar here. You know, and I just try to hear it.
Yeah.
And I try to get it so no matter what, it's something I can play on stage. I never want it to become one of these fake albums, and there's plenty of them out there, where there's all these pieces, and you hear, you know, mainline radio stuff.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
listen to that and say, oh, it's so incredible. They don't realize there's 25 pieces in there.
That's right. That can't be
and,
carried
great.
around.
If I had the opportunity to do 25 pieces and make my stuff sound like that,
yeah.
I envy those artists that can do that.
Yeah.
But talk about a safety net.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in the blues.
No,
not
it
the
wouldn't
world
sound
you and
right.
I are in. Yeah.
It wouldn't sound right.
That's right. That's
So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it, and the more you learn about the studio, the more you have respect for Howlin' Wolf and Muddy and all these guys.
That's
I mean,
right.
never mind blues artists, any artist that's ever recorded.
Right.
You know.
But how about the artists, like you just mentioned Muddy and Wolf, how about those artists who recorded at the beginning of, this electric music and studios, what they were able to do just kind of on the seat of their pants has become classic nowadays.
And that's these artists, and these guys were playing 7 nights a week.
Yes.
Multiple gigs every night.
Yeah.
So their bands were tight. So they did have that advantage.
Right.
Still, go try it.
Yeah.
It is not easy. And to capture some of the energy and some of that feeling, when I did From the Heart, I don't know if I've ever talked about Tommy Shannon joking about
the
red light fever.
Red light fever, I was going to talk to you about.
Yeah, well, you get in the studio and, and that was big deals back then. You put those guys that were used to the crowds and the energy of a live environment.
Yeah.
And then you buckle them up and put earphones on and you buckle them up and put shackles on and just say, okay, now go ahead and play everything you play out when you're out live, and you really feel like you're just sitting there tied up.
Right.
And you have to bust out of that and say, okay, and you have to, but that's, I think this is my first album where I felt so at ease.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. It's since From the Heart, how much at ease, how much comfort does Albert Cummings now feel in the studio? I
can't wait to get back and do it again.
180 from when it.
But that took a lot of time to get that experience.
Yeah.
And it's just part of growing as an artist. That's it. You just grow.
Sure. What if